Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode here on the Hermitcraft Amplified server, and behind me is a really positive sign. There's items there, they're going to despawn, oh no. That actually means that we're doing really good. These hoppers right here must all be filled up because this chest is filled up, this hopper's filled up, that one's filled up as well. We are doing extremely good here. And can we reach the hopper back there? Yeah, that one's filled up as well. So without any caving or any real attempts to improve the rates, we are getting plenty and plenty of items. More so than we'll ever use. That's not true. All of this sugar's going to be put into the brewing this episode. In fact, let's take these with us right now. We've got more than enough to get going straight away. All we need is 9 stacks. And also we'll take some glowstone as well, because we're going to be chucking those in the brewing stands that sit out front in the potion area, and the gunpowder as well. So we have sort of like nailed a few different jobs we had to do there. That's awesome. Yeah, and in this episode what we're probably going to be doing is working on the area down here. I thought we'd make a little like spooky sort of swampy witchy themed room down there, and I had a different plan actually for what I was going to do today. So we're going to go up top. Oh my god, surprise ninja creeper coming in out of nowhere, reminding me that my sound is turned off. Oh no, it's not. Wait a minute though. Hostile creatures is all the way down. That's, I don't know why, probably been at the pigman farm and turned that down and all of that stuff. Let's throw an ender pearl to get out of here, because I want to get to the top nice and quick. Is that a good throw? I think that counts as a good throw, hanging out here on the edge. Don't mind me. Let's throw it over there. Yeah, I want to go up top and show you the witch farm from outside, because I had a plan. I had a really good plan, a really cool one, and then I went to like put it into action, and I realised, oh, this might not look so great. So we've got a big ugly box left behind. I thought, what can we do with that to make it look cool? And then I thought, hey, a giant's witch head, right? Wouldn't that look amazing? Just the top of a witch with a big hat on top. I thought it would look really cool. And then I came over here and sort of measured out the dimensions. So a witch's face, if I remember in pixels, is like 8 across and 8 back, much like the player is. If you have a look at my face right here, there's 8 pixels that make up the width of it. And I can't take off my helmet. And it's the same for most mobs in the game. It's like 8 by 8 pixels. So because this is 11 blocks across and 15, that means that we have to double it. And then we make a structure that's 16 by 16. So I've been on my creative server building a giant witch's face. And I've got this feeling like it's actually going to be like a massive thing that sticks out like a sore thumb in this area, as opposed to some cool little, you know, witch's head that's sort of tucked away in the distance. It's going to be really big and take up a lot of space. So we should hop over there and have a look at what it's going to look like. So this is it. It's what I could come up with, and I think it's way too big, basically. So in order to fit the witch farm inside, we need to sort of double the pixel size, so to speak. So this is a 2x2 right here, and that means it's 16 by 16. And then there's a hat on top, and it's just pretty ridiculous looking, right? I think I even scaled down the size of the hat a little bit right here. And also, we got some limited options for blocks to sort of get the right texture. I felt like these two had the best skin color going on, but you wanted to show some of the details that do appear on a witch. In fact, if we type /mob witch, we can summon one in, and you can see here that there is like a slight difference. And you can see the side of the head as well. I've sort of emulated that texture across the side here. And I don't know, it just feels too big. Anyway, I was about halfway through building this thing, and then I thought, wait a minute, this thing needs to be spawn proof, and we don't have half slabs that are, you know, this material that we can build it out of. This is why we need slabs for every block in the game, because what you could do is just build the entire thing with all the materials right here and make it up by half a block, and then it would look exactly the same and no mobs would be able to spawn in it. So I threw down some torches, you know, roughly, and this is kind of what it's going to end up looking like. A big, massive witch's head and hat in our little amplified base with torches all over it. I'm not sure that that's what I actually want to build anymore. And I think I'm going to wait for some feedback from you guys and give myself some time to ponder on if I want to do this or not. So be sure to leave a comment down below and let me know if you like this idea or if you don't, and what you think about it. So we might need to scrap that idea entirely, because I've been reading my comments on the last episode and all of you have reminded me of something. So we're going to head up and have a look at the witch farm again. Just want to point out a couple of things that I've been doing around here. I put some cobblestone down here. I did try it at this height, but it definitely looked better down below. And that's to remind us that cobblestone are in these chests over here. So on the opposite side, we've now got some dirt and some netherrack, as well as stone and sand over here. Obviously there's cobblestone underneath to hold it up, and I've separated those with crafting benches. It's always good to have lots of those around. and that is an indicator to show us what's stored in these chests. So I like the way that looks, and as well as that, I've also tidied up this little entrance. I do feel like this bit around here looks odd, like the roof maybe should be a touch lower, but I love the water, and it all looks really good right there. So that leads through to our aesthetic staircase. That's right, this is aesthetic. If we're on this side of the room, we'll probably be using it from time to time if we need to go down or up a floor. However, when we really need to move around our base, we're going to be using pistons and stuff, which we'll probably do when 1.9 is on the server, because the new piston mechanics mean you can move around really quick with players, actually. So that's an interesting change, one I hope that stays in the game. Anyway, let's talk about the witch hut. So last episode I said something, and as I was saying it, I kind of knew that I was getting it wrong. I just couldn't quite remember how it worked. And I've been playing this game for so long, like they changed so much stuff, and you get sort of the old and the new both stuck in your head, and you're not quite sure which is which. So let's talk about the spawning algorithm for a second, because I've made a big mistake here, and I also made it in my tutorial as well, I realised. So I have to go back and annotate that video. But basically, it used to be that the spawning algorithm would start in an air block, basically a block with nothing in it except air, and then from there it could spawn mobs in both air blocks and ones without a collision mask. So this is a block without a collision mask, we can walk through it. This one has a smaller collision mask, and then this is just a solid block. Now I think there are a few, and I could be wrong here, blocks that have collision masks that allow mobs to spawn on them, like carpets for example. But I don't think that's going to be terribly useful to us. So the mistake that we've made here is that I put solid blocks the entire way around the outside. What we actually need is air blocks at this level right here, or now in 1.8 blocks that have have no collision mask. So I was thinking, is there a block that doesn't have a collision mask, or maybe one that does if it allows the algorithm to start there? I do want to go and double check with people that one with a smaller like collision mask like this might be able to start the spawning algorithm. But is there a block that will block the light going in and allow the spawning algorithm to start? Because then, you know, we can just have that around the outside here and not have to worry about things. Let's take that back. So yeah, basically all of these blocks right here are lowering our spawn rates, which means what we might have to do is tear out all of those blocks and build a big old roof on this thing. And that got me thinking that in the video I instructed the player to build glass around the outside, and that was also to hold the water in, which is another thing to think about. You would have to put signs along the side of this thing to hold the water in as well, and then you would need blocks at this height so that the witch couldn't get out. Yeah, that was a little oversight in the tutorial video right there. That would really increase the spawn rates. I'm going to have to go back and play around with that again now that I realise it. Anyway, here's my other thoughts. I'm going to find out what we can do with this. However, the spawn rates have been so good with this thing, I'm not sure if I really care too much for the extra efficiency. Also means we've got to build a massive roof, right? And then that's going to be big and ugly around here, and this isn't exactly the quad witch hut farm. If we need insane amounts of drops, we can always go there. So as for what I'm doing here, I'm not 100% sure, but I did just want to let you know what my thoughts with that were. So anyway, we're now going to head down below and start working on some technical stuff with the drops that we get from this farm. You know, item filters. I'll start building some stuff and I'll explain it when we get down there. So I've got a few bits and bobs to show you, and right now we're working on the technical stuff with this. We'll come to the aesthetics later on, but first of all we want to work on moving the items from this witch farm to the various parts of our base. So these 5 items right here, they're going to be grouped together and sent up to our storage area, so we'll come back to that when we go up there and check that out. And then these 2 right here are going to be individually sorted and sent to different parts of our base. Now when I was first thinking about how to do this, I was thinking in terms of water streams with items going through them into dropper elevators powered by redstone, and that stuff is quite rigid to work with and would have been difficult. And thank goodness I remembered we got minecarts, so minecarts are definitely going to be the best way to move these items. You know, all you got to do is dig a tunnel, put down the tracks, and then it goes to wherever you choose it to go to. So that means if ever it's in the way of something else, it's easy to reroute the minecart tracks. We've got 2 things right here. We've got bottles and sticks. So let's go and check out bottles first of all, because they're going to go to our potion brewing area. And this is actually going to start to tie up the room really nicely. There is a ladder back here that I put in place, yes. We need to climb up this to get to that room temporarily. The transport in my base right now is terrible, but this thing is still all being constructed. So it is this right here is where all of our bottles are going to go to. So we're going to do away with having the 2 little chests in the corner. We're going to have a nice storage unit here, one on the other side as well, so it's nice and symmetrical. And I think this is a little bit overkill, so what we'll probably end up doing is raising the sea lanterns at the bottom and then the ones at the top down, and then there'll just be 4 double chests there for them over here as well. I've also been playing around with the iron bars. I had a comment suggesting that I should use those instead of the stained glass, and you know what, I really like it on this bit here, so chances are I'll go around and do that for the rest of the room. But anyway, it's going to be really easy because we've got some hoppers around the back here, and then we can run a hopper line across the top where that gap is, and then above there we can create a minecart unloading system, and that'll fit in this space somewhere around where I am right now, and it feels like there's probably plenty of space for that, except this is probably in the way, isn't it? Let's have a little dig. Yes, that is actually going to be in the way, so I'll have to sort of tuck it over to the side. I'll figure out how to do that. But yeah, that's the way we're going to deliver the bottles into that area. Now what we're going to do with the sticks is use them for fuel, and I had this suggestion a lot in my comments, and I thought it was a really good one. There's also 2 fence posts missing. Don't know where they've gone, but they're not there. And yeah, it's going to be great because our system is sort of all ready for it. If we have a look here, we've got this minecart which is supposed to deliver the fuel. That's empty at the moment, so we can simply have a hopper above there, and then like a minecart unloading system back there as well, and that's where the sticks are going to go to. Now what's really cool about this is if we, let's say, put in 8 items, they get distributed, 1 into each one, so they smelt really fast. But using coal, that means it gets wasted, because for each piece of coal you can smelt 8 items like this, and yeah, that would all get wasted. But with sticks, it will be a lot more efficient as well, even though the sticks are sort of infinite. So yeah, that's what we're going to do with those 2. With the other items, if I can actually hop up into this little gap, we're going to put them in the storage area, and we're going to start making use of the opposite side of the room. Now these drops are going to come in over and over again, and the idea for this wall right here is that it's from farms. So we've got 1 farm so far. It produces items at a very slow rate, and even though we've been in the world for a long time, this is all it's produced, and I do think that is actually a little bit naff, but we'll probably never use that many anyway. So what we'll do somewhere over here is we'll have our sugar, our glowstone, gunpowder, redstone and spider eyes, and these items will probably be quite frequently accessed. The problem is, if we put them into this storage over here, we're going to overflow the chest so easily and cause problems for ourselves. This is a big system. The way it works is that we decide what items go into it, and then things like that shouldn't become an issue. So somewhere around here we've got one with glowstone. So if ever we've got glowstone in our inventory, yes, it'll go into this bit. If it ever gets filled up, we can take it up, put it in the chests over there. But I don't think I need to explain that too much, do I? It's coming from a farm. The items are going to continuously flow in, so it needs its own little bit of storage, which is going to be going on that side over there. So up the top here I've made a couple of changes. You're in the way, get out of here. Over here we've now got some new beacons. That's right, if you remember when we first came to this area, we did actually mark out where each of the beacons would go, and they're in a grid so that they overlap, and the entire area can have the beacon effects once we've set them up correctly. So over there is another dirt pillar. You can probably just about see that, and there's one behind that building, one over there. You can't actually see them from where I'm at right now. And what I've done over here, by the way, is I've only put them at Y45. Now I technically could have gone a little bit higher than that, but the beacon beam goes 50 blocks in each direction. It follows the beam all the way up to the sky, or the build limit, whatever you want to call it, and it goes down by 50 blocks as well from where the beacon block is. So because of that, it doesn't make sense to dig all the way down. So that's at Y45. It could have been a little bit higher. That's going to cover the entire area once we get the other ones put in place. But that's to help me do the work down below, just to make digging a lot easier. And you can also see here that we made a modification to the witch farm. As I explained earlier, it turns out that a half slab is a block that has a collision mask that the spawning algorithm can start in, and also it blocks out the light as well, which is absolutely perfect. So by replacing these blocks over to these ones, not only can we peer into the farm, but the light level in there is still low, and spawning algorithm can start just over here, which means the rates are going to be ever so slightly better. So nice little change. So time is just flying by today on the server. Let me show you what we got going on right here. So around the back of the drops area, that's the other side that you've seen. The hoppers now go around like this. We've got an item filter for sticks, which we can see by clicking on that one. And over here we got one for bottles as well. Have any sticks actually come down into this bit yet? No. And I can hear the witches falling down as well, so we should be getting those soon through. Soon. Say the words in the right order. And yes, I'm forever hopping around on stuff down here. So over on this side we've got a minecart unloader, so all of the other items that don't get filtered out go into this. This just means when a minecart chest comes down here, it gets filled up with items till it's full, or till this thing runs out of items and it sends it on its way. So over here, and I don't want to send that up, is like a little redstone tower thing. I got this from the Durpaco Netherwart farm, actually. A really cool way to make a little spiral staircase, because every redstone block just powers the powered rails. So that takes it up to the surface area, or underneath the surface. You know what I'm talking about. And we'll go check that out in a second. Then over here we've got this little thing that I designed, and basically it's using the similar principle right here, as you can see, except it's designed so that we put items in this chest, and what I'll do is I'll craft up a bunch of non-stackable items, and it means that when the minecart chest reaches a certain amount of inventory, then it gets sent on its way. And the problem here basically is that we wanted the same system we got over here, but we wanted it side by side. And now that I look at it, this thing is actually tileable, isn't it? So in a way I've sort of compacted what's going on over there. The thing is, if this is empty, it's going to send the minecart on its way. This system won't. When these are empty, the minecart has to reach a certain amount. I could literally just change it and make it the same as this over here. Wow, I spent ages working on this, and now I realise I could have built the other one. How silly. So watching back what I just recorded, I decided to intervene in the middle of that clip and just quickly explain something. This is actually better, this one right here. I need to use this one on this design over here. The reason why, when the minecart comes back down and this is empty, it's going to send it on its way again, which is actually not what I want. And why I did it this way, I just didn't realise. Because if we've got no items to send, then the minecart is forever going to ping pong back and forth between the two places, which is, I guess, annoying if you hear the minecart going around the base. It's not a really big deal, but I think it'd be much wiser to make it so it doesn't do that. So that only do it when this thing is filled up to a certain quantity, which is how we're going to do this bit right here. I put redstone blocks down every other block. I know you don't have to do that. I know you don't have to use powered rails all the way up, but that's just the way that I like to do it. And so it comes up to this bit right here. We're sort of in between. Actually, no, we're sort of above the potion area down there, sort of in between this one and the floor above. So this goes all the way around to the side, and this system was really easy to build. There's a hopper that points into this chest, and on the other side of it is a comparator pointing into a block with a torch, so that keeps this powered. The second the minecart comes over here and items start going into the hopper, this gets turned off. The powered rail is no longer powered until it's unloaded all of the fuel. So that's absolutely fine. Let's say that the fuel gets filled up all the way and it stays in the hopper, then the minecart just sits here until enough fuel's been used, and then it goes back on its way. So all of that stuff is real good and convenient. And then for the other bits and bobs, I haven't done anything yet. So the other track comes up into this area, and that's where we'll filter them out into the two sets of chests down below for the bottles. And then if we hop around here and go up top, I can show you where the other minecart track comes to. It's actually just around here. So it comes through the wall, and it's ready for us to build like an item filter system. So we're just going to have the minecart unload somewhere around here and then drop it into an item filter, which will point directly into these chests. So that'll be done probably the next time I choose to record. And just down here, by the way, is the top of that spiral elevator, or whatever you want to call it. Alright, it's been a while since I've recorded, and things are going really well. Really well, actually. So this one over here, done and tested. I don't think the smelter has been used yet. So yeah, look at that. Loads and loads of fuel ready to go down into the system, but we've got to use up the coal that's already here first. But I've been checking on it. It goes back and forth and it fills it up, which is really great. And over here, I've now done the one for the potion bottles down the bottom, so the track splits off the side here. This will probably get moved later on, because I realised after I put it there that it's right against the wall, but we've got a little system here for dividing up the bottles and sending them off to either side. So I'll walk you through it quickly. It's actually split all of them off and sent them on their way. But basically, when there's enough items in there, and you can see this comparator is on subtract mode, there's only a bucket in here. So once there's a certain amount of items in there, this torch is going to be turned off by that comparator once there's more than the equivalent of the bucket in the hopper. And then you can see that these go through to locking the hoppers down below. So what they do is they allow both these hoppers to take from the chest at the top at the same time, and then they get split evenly and sent to either side, which is really cool. So let's hop down below somehow, somewhere around this way. It's all getting real tight around here. And have a look at the potion room, because this end of it you could now say is sort of done. The entrance has kind of come together, and look at that. I actually really like how that looks. It fits so well, and it just looks real good. Where have you spawned? Where have you got in here? Is there? No, there's two of you. What's going on here? There's two of them in the base, so I've got to go around and check the light levels. Well, it couldn't have been anywhere around here because it's plastered with sea lanterns. And I put all of the bottles that we'd already got in that side, I think. And apparently I put some of them in this side as well. Actually, yeah, I think I remember doing that now. I decided to divide them up. So anyway, they've been split up. The only thing I'm not sure about here is this entrance. Like, I tried to sort of let it blend its way in a little bit, I guess you could say. I think what might look better here is actually having sea lanterns on the floor. Do we have any more? Okay, where's some cobble? Let's put a piece of cobble right there. Doesn't look massively better, but I prefer that to having the spruce come through into the room a little bit. So yeah, that's that bit done, and if we hop up the top, I'll show you the setup that we've got for the final bit now, which is the rest of the drops that come from the witch farm. This is really cool. I love it. I gotta say it again, the way all of this has been set up is just awesome. So now we have 5 more drops from farms over here, and already tons and tons of items backing up, which is real cool. You can see there's like bits of dirt and stuff that have fallen in there. Gonna get rid of all of that stuff. And if we go around the back here, you can see this is the system. It is really straightforward. Got an item filter system over here, and we've got an unloading system. And it's actually unloading items as we speak, which is real cool. So it's been going back and forth and doing that and filling up the chests, which is great. So next, let's head down here, and I'll show you the minor changes that I've made. So when I say minor, I do mean minor. You can see these ones are sitting here slowly filling up. I might actually reduce the amount of buckets that I put in here. It's 2 in each, and I think we might set that down to 1 on each. So that's all I changed really. Put hoppers instead of chests and put a bucket inside of it. And as for the aesthetics of this bit right here, it's going to have to wait to another episode because that was crazy. I haven't played for that long in like quite some time, put tons and tons of hours into doing all of that, and I really enjoyed it. And I hope you did too, because that's going to be it for this episode. As always, if you've enjoyed yourself, please do hit the like button and help support the channel. But that's going to be it from me. As always, thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.